anytime I get to do anything Mortal Kombat is so nice. Like I was a big fighting game kid playing growing up. I'm still a big fighting game kid. Depending on who you ask. So being a part of any fighting game, I treasure really deeply. But being a part of Mortal Kombat, the game that I used to play at the arcade cabinet when I was teeny tiny, it's been such a treat. When I first got Sub Zero, I was top of the moon. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop like screaming about into the mirror, right? But now being able to step into Noob Saibot, like one of the coolest, like most classic characters there is. Yeah, this is a memory I'm gonna have for a very very long time. Yeah.
Sector was so interesting because there is a previous iteration of Sector, but this was completely different. So in a lot of ways, I got to establish this character, new voice, new backstory, new moveset. There are still some moves that will be familiar, but it was incredible. Like Keiji said, I grew up playing Mortal Kombat, and so my agents called me on a conference call to tell me the news because they knew how much it would mean to me. So being Sector was daunting because on one hand you are sort of taking on the legacy of an older character, but then having to do something completely different, not referencing the prior acting. So I think I'm just really, really excited to be part of this.
Well, I mean, for at least for Sub Zero during MK1, right? We've had this good guy Sub Zero for the past however many years. So I really got to kind of like experiment for the first time in a very long time with Bihan, right? Who is far more of a, if I may say, a dick, right? Like he's not the nicest dude, right? So it's always very freeing and very fun to step into the shoes of someone who has chosen to take the moral gray line and play hopscotch with it, right? It's been an incredible template into a character like Noob Saibot, right? Noob Saibot, if you want to refer to Bihan or Sub Zero as morally gray, Noob Saibot, he's a bad guy, right? And it's incredible always to voice a character who has shed themselves of some of that moral human stuff that we all kind of hold on to, right? Incredibly freeing, very fun, good time.
I pretty much got to throw all of the old stuff out in a lot of ways just because this is, MK1, as you know, has so many changes. They really wanted to shake it up. And, with the new timelines, retcons of things, different realms, it means that Sector's story is completely different than the old Sector's story. And so I was not really beholden to anything other than I knew there was going to be the armor. I knew that there was a relationship with Cyrax. I knew, and that's pretty much it. I was being a little bit glib, but like Dominic and writing all the scripts really had my back and just having a really compelling story throughout the storyline and the quips and the efforts that really matched with the really cool move set. But he did write me one that highlights. I personally have a baby ball python, and so I got to have like a little reference to that in one of the lines. But no, we were all pretty lockstep in terms of what we wanted.
I will say, I threw out the idea that everyone in Lin Kuei should have outrageous French accents, all at Monty Python, right? It was shot down. It was shot down.
Outrageous French
Yeah,
accents.
outrageous French. It was shot down, unfortunately. So
Extra DLC down the line.
maybe, right? Maybe.
Hey, Ed. Oh well.
I mean, it's fine. No, I mean, I've been privileged enough to be a part of enough like fighting games and war games where I've been dying for like almost 20 years now. So it's like like me hearing myself die is like it's Tuesday.
Yeah, I actually haven't gotten to play or see or experience any of Sector yet. Seeing the trailer and seeing the cinematic today was the first time that I'd ever seen it. It was crazy. I did cry. But I think I don't know. Do you feel weird like listening to yourself at all?
Honestly, like the first few years of me doing this, yeah, it is
Yeah,
weird,
it's
right? Like,
weird.
because you're as a human, right? You're not really used to hearing your voice
You're like,
coming out
oh,
of
is that what I
speakers,
sound
right?
like?
Right? Your brain doesn't
Yeah.
like that, right? It's like, what? Why?
I think
Right?
so. To answer your question specifically, dying does not disturb me as much as just hearing my voice. So
My wife hates it though. My wife,
Yeah.
yeah, she hates hearing me die. She does not like that. Yeah.
I think even when you do a home record, you have the director there to sort of talk you through it and say, okay, so for this death, it's gonna you get stabbed in the gut, they cut upwards, then your head goes off, and so like sort of just sort of really walk you through it. Kind of hold your hand as you get mutilated. So like generally we had pretty good direction in that regard, especially because this team, as you may imagine, is very used to directing actors on how to die
Yeah.
or how to
Yeah.
make those efforts. So we had a lot of guidance in that regard.
Yeah, it gets to this fun wacky place where it's like, I guess not wacky, but it's like hour 4 in the last session, right? The death stuff comes. Everyone's already tired, so it becomes this like weird kind of like millage, like, all right, throat stab, 2 takes, right? Perfect. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Arm break, worst arm break. Can we get a safety on that arm break? All right, let's go to the legs.
That is something that you really appreciate, especially in like the union and studio
Yeah.
where they will protect you.
It's much harder to get decapitated on camera than it is.
Yeah.
Very much.
That requires
That's
a lot
what stunt
more.
doubles are
Yeah.
for. Shout out to stunt doubles.
But no, there's very interesting ways of doing pain reacts, right? You just know that where the pain is happening, right? If the pain is happening here, it's going to be different than if the pain is happening here. The trick is if you can make the audience really feel it here, then you're doing your job. I know that's a weird way to put it, right? It's like there's ways you move and there's ways you like cringe up, and there's muscles that clench up that are different, and that produces different sounds, and that's how we differentiate.
Yeah, everybody has their own sort of technique for doing it. I do martial arts. And I know what it's like to get kicked in the face by accident. So, you sort of, my body remembers what it's like to make those sounds, even if I can't make my body move like that in that moment.